Hey y'all, how's it going? It's Shul Creates here, and today I'm gonna be doing an action figure review on this AllFun Toys, quote unquote, Chao Jinglong, or Omega Shenron from Dragon Ball GT. Now, first off, taking a look at this box here, we have a pretty standard SH figure art style box. One thing that's different about this one is that there was three different variations of this figure released, as you can see right on the front here. There's the Sin Shenron version, where he only has the one Dragon Ball in his forehead. There's the Omega Shenron version, where he has all the Dragon Balls, and then there's the shitty ass Dragon Ball Heroes version that nobody talks about because honestly, who's watching that show? But just taking a look at this, it's a pretty standard box. I like the picture on the side here. You usually don't see pictures of other action figures on the SH Figure Arts boxes, so that's cool. What's pretty ridiculous here is that in the background here they kind of teased that they were gonna make like a Nova Shenron and an Ice Shenron, and that never happened. And I'm willing to bet that these are just pictures of the old Jack specific figures. I am willing to bet, honestly. But just taking a look at it on the back here, you got some standard pictures of the figure. I like what they did on the back here. It's kind of strange though that he has all seven of the Dragon Balls in his chest there, but he's holding an eighth one, which doesn't really make any sense. But I digress. So yeah, just taking a look at this guy, my first impressions of this figure are like I'm honestly pretty torn on it. I really love the likeness of this guy. He looks exactly like Omega Shenron. The sculpt is pretty nice. It's not super detailed or anything, but it's not a super detailed character in anyways. I'm really satisfied with the size of him. He comes in at about, we're gonna say about 8.25 inches there, and comparing him next to SH Figure Arts Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he definitely towers over him. So proportion wise, he's great. I love the bulk of the muscles. That definitely has done a lot better than any other figure. The only other ones that have been released are the Jack specific one back in the day and the more recent Dragon Stars version. And both of those are nice, but they don't really cut it for me. One of the biggest things about those that I don't like that I really love about this guy is the Jack Specific version literally just had the Dragon Balls painted on the chest. And the Dragon Stars version, it does have 3D Dragon Balls, but they're still just a matte plastic. And the ones on his chest here, they're like the pearl translucent plastic, and they look really nice. The one thing I hate about them though, and I guess I can't really fault this figure for it because none of the other ones have ever had it before either. But one huge detail they're missing is that these are, the Dragon Balls are blue and they're supposed to be cracked, and no figure of him has ever had the Dragon Balls cracked. They're supposed to have little cracks going through them, and that detail, would go a long way to making this guy more accurate. But yeah, overall he does look pretty nice, but it just feels very cheap, very plasticky, like something that would have come out back in the day. It doesn't have like a premium feel to it. It definitely doesn't feel like something that was worth $85 what I paid for it. Now the paint job on this guy, it is basically non-existent. This entire thing, it is all just pretty much molded plastic. He's not the character. He's a all white. He's pretty much a clean white character. But the plastic on this guy, it's more of like an off cream color, and you can definitely see that. Compared to his eyes there. The eye. His eyes are completely white, and you can definitely see how much darker the skin is there. But yeah, there's really no paint on this figure at all. What little is there, I think there might be some paint on these small panels. It definitely is clean, but I guess you get what you buy when you're getting these third-party figures, but it would have been nice if they could have had some kind of shading or something on this figure to make it look just a little bit less cheap, a little bit less plasticky, more like something premium that's worth the money you're paying for it. But, what is here is nice. Like I said before, the details on these Dragon Balls, the stars are very tiny, and it would have been easy to, print them poorly, but, they did a really nice job with that, and it is appreciated. But like I said, they could have, maybe went a little further in making this guy just look a little bit less cheap, included something on there. Alright, so the articulation on this guy is where things start to get really weird, and you can start to tell that, although this is something that will look nice on your shelf and will fit in good enough with your figure arts collection, it functions nothing like a SH figure arts figure, really at all. It's not even close. So first off, taking a look at the head here, it comes on this tiny little flat end peg. You can see how tiny that is, and it plugs directly into the neck. Now the neck here, it sticks out of the body kind of horizontally, and it's stuck in a fixed position. The neck doesn't have any articulation at all. It really doesn't move. It moves side to side a tiny little bit. It's completely useless. And up and down, there's nothing there. It's completely stuck in a fixed position. Now the head, you plug it into that tiny little hole. It looks up and down it looks up and down pretty nice, but the downside to that is you can see the neck here, it comes to just a flat end, and it's just ugly. You get a nice, you get a nice up and down, and the edge of the head just comes off way too easy. It's ridiculous. But you get a nice up and down, but at what cost? And it doesn't look side to side at pretty much at all whatsoever, which is also kind of ridiculous. You really don't get much range at all out of it. He can look up, and that's about it. The neck doesn't move at all. Now, one thing that's super unique about this figure, that I actually love, no SH Figure Arts figure has ever done, is this entire head, neck, and his traps and everything. As you can see on the back here, it all comes on a hinge, which is just really unique. Is not something that we've ever seen done on an SH Figure Arts figure. It actually does give it, a nice amount of range going forward and back. And I really like what they did there. That's actually a really unique, innovative, way of making that move, I think. You get a little gappage from it in the back, but I don't really think that matters. The shoulders here it's another kind of huge downside. We don't get any type of, butterfly joint, nothing. They are just these giant hinges that are pegged directly into the body, and yeah, they don't go front and back whatsoever. We get nothing there, and that's just not good. It's not ideal. That's not something, it's not up to standards with most modern action figures, really. Now going up and down here, you get a nice range there. It swivels all the way around, which, that works fine. The upper biceps here, these work fine, they swivel all the way around. I'm not even going to leave this head on, they swivel all the way around here, and, that works fine. Now, one of the single biggest downside to this figure, what is absolutely horrid, hideous, the elbows and knees on this guy are completely non-existent. This has to be the single most it's double jointed and it goes in all the way, you get a nice range out of it. But at what cost? It is, there's nothing there. There's literally no, I've never seen this on an action figure ever. I've seen ugly elbows and knees, square ones, I've seen all different kinds that just don't look great, but I've never seen just a complete and utter absence of any sculpt, anything. You can just see a complete exposed joint inside there, and it is just, what is that? It is, come on now, that's pathetic. It's hideous. That's a 0 out of 10 right there. That is just ridiculous, horrible. They didn't even try. They honestly did not even try, and it is ridiculous. Taking the wrists here, they are fixed to the body, as you can see. They come on a hinge there. They're not coming out. The left hand here is another thing that SH Figure Arts figures never do. And, you know, the figures, the fingers here, they come on a hinge and they all move down, which is, you know, SH Figure Arts figures come with multiple different hands, so that's not something that is ever required. And yeah, I don't see why they did that. Not even just SH Figure Arts figures, basically all modern action figures, Marvel Legends, everything. They come with different heads, different hands, and a lack of that in modern times, that is just honestly unacceptable. Taking a look at the ab crunch here, the whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it moves up and down pretty well, but side, you don't get basically anything side to side, which is, I don't think is great. Taking the waist here, you get a swivel, barely. It goes that far left and it goes that far right, and it is just basically functionless. I can't begin to understand why it is so limited, and I think that's just bullshit. It is not great. They could have done better. They could have tried harder. And yeah. So taking a look at the hips here, they come on these large 3.0-esque, ball joints, ball swivel joints, whatever you want to call them. And I think they're all right, but they look kind of ugly. Most of the SH Figure Arts figures from around this time period, they had the multiple, different components, segments in the hips, the floating pieces, and, these look alright, but they're not great. Going side to side, now that you do get a really nice range out of them going side to side. They actually go further than 90 degrees. They go even a little bit more above, and that's really good. They swivel all the way around here, that's good. You get a nice front kick out of them. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. You get a nice front kick out of them. They do go all the way front. And going back, we run into another problem here. The typical problem that SH Figure Arts 3.0 figures run into. They don't go back whatsoever. They are, as you can see, his butt cheek here, his ass completely blocks any back kicks whatsoever. That's the farthest his leg is going back, and I just don't think that's acceptable. I don't see, and they ran into this problem years before the 3.0 figures were ever released, and I just don't see, that's just another real downside to the articulation on this guy. I think they could have done better with that. Back kicks are pretty essential to any action figure, I would think, but, I guess not. Taking a look at the knees here, like I said before, same thing with the elbows. Absolutely hideous. The knees here might be even uglier. They come to this just like nasty point in the middle there. They come off to these sides. They have to be the single most unnatural, just hideous, ugly looking knee joints I have ever seen on any action figure ever, from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, modern times, whatever you want to call it. This shit is pathetic. They did not even try. Taking a look at the feet and ankles here, the ankles come on a rocker. They are very stiff. They barely move side. No, you get a nice range of side to side out of them. But, front and back, you get a little bit there, but not much. The toes, they do come on a hinge there, and actually that is one thing. A lot of typical Dragon Ball SH Figure Arts figures, the toe hinge is just really hideous, and it comes up too far and looks out of place, but, it's actually not too bad on this guy, so that's one positive. So, taking a look at the accessories here, you get, drumroll please, nothing. More or less, absolutely nothing. You get no extra face expressions for this guy. You get no extra hands. The hands are fixed to the body, and that is absolutely pathetic. Unacceptable. This is literally the only, and I mean the only, SH Figure Art styled figure in my entire collection, minus Shenron, which doesn't count. That is basically just a statue. That doesn't, that doesn't count. This is a whole figure, and you get jack shit with it, and that is just completely unacceptable to me. What you do get are these seven blue Dragon Balls. They're blue because in GT, they had too much energy in them from all the wishes not allowing the energy to dissipate. So they cracked and turned blue. And what you do get here is it's done poorly. You get the seven blue Dragon Balls, and the stars on them, they're printed real clean. They look nice. But the Dragon Balls, they have these big ass ugly seams going across them. That might be hard to see there. And they also have these little like air bubbles inside them, and they're just ugly. There's really nothing to talk about here with the accessories, and this aspect is just it's a 0 out of 10. Absolutely pathetic, unacceptable. And this guy was like, I was lucky. I got him for about $85, I think, and on the aftermarket, I remember this guy going for $110, $120, and to get nothing for that much, come on now. So overall, my final thoughts on this guy, honestly, I was pretty excited to get this figure, but in hands, after finally having it after all these years, it is just a disappointment. It's something that is gonna look nice on your shelf. It'll fit in good enough with your SH Figure Arts collection, but it is just not worth the money that I paid for it. Honestly, it has a very cheap feel to it. You get nothing with it. The articulation is just wonky and all over the place. They did one innovative thing with it that I really liked, but besides that, I can't recommend getting this guy. And especially, I regret getting it now because they just revealed the Super 17 figure, and I feel like if they're making Super Android 17, they're going to be making Omega Shenron. That's a given. And I don't think anybody's going to be buying this guy from me anytime soon. And unfortunately, he's probably just going to end up languishing in the closet for the rest of my life unless I can sell him for the low. And yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But, my final review, my final score on this guy, I'm going to have to go ahead and give him like a 4 out of 10. Uh, I'd give him a 4. I really can't recommend it. It's not really worth your money. It looks nice, and that's about it. But yeah, that's gonna be all today. Let me know below what you guys think of this. What you guys think of this figure? Did you get this? How much did you pay for it? Did you end up selling it? What do you think of Omega Shenron overall? Let me know below. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.